Hi, I'm Will Howard, and here in Talbot County, we're blessed to have a hospice house. Now, if you don't know what a hospice house is, most people don't. We're going to find out today. Join me. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Will. Good to see you.
What a beautiful facility you have here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It is gorgeous, isn't it?
Tell me, because many people have not ever heard the word hospice and they don't know what it is.
Sure.
What is the word hospice derived from?
Hospice is actually a Latin word, and it comes from the pilgrimages probably a couple centuries ago where weary, sick travelers would look for shelter to heal them. And so that's where the hospice concept came from.
And tell me, how long has hospice been in Talbot County and how many volunteers do you have? And what do you do?
We're actually celebrating our 30th anniversary this year.
30th anniversary?
Yes, and we were founded actually as part of the Talbot County Health Department under Dr. Buck Guthrie. And it was really truly a grassroots effort in terms of volunteerism. Right now we have over 350 volunteers that help us.
Wow.
If we didn't have our volunteers, we really couldn't do it.
And they're all trained?
Oh yes, they're all trained. There's about 18 hours of training. They do background checks, motor vehicle checks. I mean, you can assume when a volunteer goes into someone's house, we want to be assured that they are somebody that's going to be good to that family and that there aren't any issues for them.
And what happens here?
Well, here, hospice is a philosophy of holistic care provided to the individual facing life-threatening illness and the family. When somebody is facing the last chapter of their life, as you can imagine, there's many, many issues. So hospice recognizes that we're not dealing with a patient that has a disease and we need to treat the symptoms. There are a lot of things going on. For every patient that we see or individual that we see, there are certainly immediate family members, extended family members, and friends that are affected by someone going through the last chapter of their life. So that's where we get the holistic approach. We have a variety of healthcare professionals as well as a variety of support services that we provide. Our partner, Shore Home Care Hospice, provides the medical and the nursing component. So they provide the hospice nurses, the hospice medical director, the hospice social worker, and home health aides, which helps the individual with activities of daily life. What we provide here in the foundation are the services of bereavement, spirituality through a hospice chaplain, and again, the volunteers that I talk about. We service individuals wherever they are. So if they're in their home, they're in a nursing home, skilled nursing facility, or here in our guest wing, we will go there. And what happens is once somebody comes on hospice program, the nurse goes out from Shore Home Care Hospice and does an assessment in terms of what the needs might be, along with the social worker, because again, we have a holistic approach. So we figure out what they might need in terms of their medical care, and then we also figure out what they might need in terms of support care, what kind of volunteers they may need. We offer the spirituality service. We have nurse educators that may come in and help with getting organized with their meds. As you can imagine, the hospice patients have a lot of medications. Just trying to get that straight is a big relief for the family and the patient. If someone chooses to come here in the guest wing, we provide the same services we would in their home. However, it's 24/7 care by professional staff, and it's really for people who no longer are safe at home. Perhaps it's an elderly couple where the spouse can no longer handle the wife getting in and out of bed, help them with feeding the patient. So this is a nice, safe place for someone to come in terms of getting those services. All of our services are provided at no charge with the exception of a sliding scale room and board fee in the guest wing. And it's totally dependent on the individual's finances. So no one is ever turned away.
That's remarkable.
It is remarkable. Our volunteers are such a critical part of what we do. They provide all sorts of services to the individual and the family members. They may go there just to go run groceries, take the patient to a doctor visit. Sometimes the spouse just needs to get away and get her hair done, play bridge. The husband might need to go out and play golf, so they sit there as a companion. It may mean watching a movie with the patient. It may mean just sitting there and holding the individual's hand, writing a letter, reading a book. So they really are a huge compassionate branch of all the services that we provide, and they're so valuable to the family. We have a wonderful, wonderful community that supports what we do. We do not get any reimbursement from insurance, so we are totally dependent upon the donations of our community. And for 30 years, our community has served us extremely well, as you obviously will see in our facility. And the person who can tell you more about the guest wing is our director of the guest wing, Molly Cotter, who's a registered nurse. In fact, here she comes now.
Hi, Molly.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Molly Cotter.
Nice to meet you.
Why don't I take you back to the guest wing and we can get you a good idea of what really goes on day to day here.
Terrific. Let's go.
Here in our facility we have 6 beds where actually most of the care is given in a non-medical setting. So volunteers help us provide the 24-hour care along with paid medical staff. It's a situation that's truly supported by the community and we couldn't do it without them. And we are looking at a situation where we're trying to expand so we can care for more community needs. I'll take you down into one of the rooms and show you some of actually what each special place looks like. All our rooms are different. So here we are in one of our rooms. This is actually one of our guests, Barbara, and her patient care volunteer.
Hi, Barbara.
Randolph.
Hey, Randolph.
Hello, pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So as you can see, we try to think of every little detail that would make someone feel like they're at home. 75% of people want to pass away in their home, but unfortunately only 25% usually do. So we took a look at that scenario and tried to create a non-medical environment that felt like home, where you could step into the gardens, get a breath of fresh air. On days that you feel like you'd like to stay in a little bit more, be in the comfort of your bed but still feel like you're in the living room with your family. We like to create a setting where families can take a breath and start being that wife, that husband, that daughter and son again, and not be stressed with all of the caregiving needs. And because of volunteers like Randolph, we're able to provide that setting for the families of Talbot County.
And if they're able to, they can go out and you have a beautiful living room setting.
Yes. Oh, we've had people celebrate so many milestones there. We've had birthdays, we've had all sorts of celebrations where families can come together and again, celebrate the life that they're here honoring.
You even have a happy hour?
Oh, we have been known at times to have a little New Year's celebration with a few guests at their request. So we try to help each individual that comes to us for the services and make this based on exactly what they're looking for with the end of their life.
It's very, very home-like.
It's really comfortable setting, and it's a situation where it's kind of a diamond in the rough for Talbot County. You're not going to find this special place with all of these special details anywhere
That's true.
else.
That's true. Are you comfortable here?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Why don't I introduce you to our chaplain, Nevin? He would probably be able to give you a great picture of some of the other things that we have to take into consideration when someone's facing these end-of-life discussions.
Okay, great.
Okay? Nevin, this is Will Howard.
Hi, Nevin. So, Nevin, tell me, what is your role here at Hospice House?
Well, I am Director of Spiritual Care, the chaplain. I have been here be 10 years in July. I go and visit all the patients on the Pathway and Hospice program that are desirous of my services. So I visit in the guest wing, I visit in all the nursing homes and in the hospital, and I go to all the residences that have hospice patients all over the county, and it's taken me to every community and every area of Talbot County.
Now, I know you've been a pastor in Easton for many, many years, but you must meet people of all different religions.
I have met of all different religions and creeds and have been able to service all religions and creeds. And I feel the Lord has gifted me with the ability to not be forceful, but to be patient and listening, and to offer love and compassion and care and prayer for all the patients.
Do you take care of the family in the grieving process as well?
Not as much. Norma Trax takes care of that, and when I'm the person that passes away, often I do have the funeral. I have had several funerals, and I go to the funerals of many patients, but then we pass our baton over to Norma after the person is deceased.
This is a beautiful chapel.
Yes. And I know it's used, and I know even the staff come in here and use it quite often.
That's great.
And I am very grateful for the privilege of working with the hospice personnel here in the guest wing and the staff and shore home care. Let me introduce you to Norma Trax upstairs. There's a grieving session in process right now, so let's go up and meet. I want you to meet Norma.
Great, super, thank you.
Norma, excuse me a second. We have Mr. Will Howard has taken a video of our hospice situation here today, and I know you have a bereavement session in progress, so I'd like to introduce you to Will, and he'll take over.
Hi.
Here.
Hi, Will.
Nice to meet you.
Come in and sit down.
Thank you. Norma, tell me what your role is here.
Well, Will, as the bereavement coordinator here, I work with individuals, with families, with groups around issues of grief following the death. When a death occurs, our lives are disrupted, and people work with that, live through that in very different ways, because each person is different, each experience is different. Sometimes people will find their way here to do some grief work soon after the death. Sometimes it's a year or two later than that, as the reality of that sort of sets in. With individuals and families, they come with whatever is on their plate, and I believe, and I've learned in this process, that talking about it is a very important piece of that healing journey. The literature supports that acknowledging the grief and telling the story so that we hear ourselves say it helps us to accept the reality of that death as well. We do a number of different groups outlined in our brochure. It can help to talk, focusing on different populations, different needs that people may have. We work in the community. All of our services are open to anyone in the community at no charge. We work with community groups, with long-term care programs, providing educational events for those folks. Sometimes we provide grief groups in those facilities for caregivers, for family members, as well as educational events for those caregivers in those programs. As part of what we do also, we do work with the public schools in Talbot County and work with their counseling departments to provide grief-trained education support for children. I've come to believe that it's very important to work with children and their grief issues. Many times those children look really great. Their grades are good, they smile, they don't fuss and beat up on other kids out of their anger or their sadness, but they carry that with them. And so I really believe that we need to be addressing that, and we are doing that with students in the schools in Talbot County as best we can when there's a need. We certainly invite people to call us whenever there is a need, or even to get information. Our website is another resource that people can use.
And what is that website?
The website is talbothospice.org, and there's bereavement information on that website as well.
That's great. What a wonderful service for our county.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing it.
Thank you for coming here. We're glad to see you.
I've been dying to meet Baxter.
Well, here he is, a hospice
Baxter,
mascot.
hello, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Everybody loves Baxter.
I have a dog just like Baxter. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you.
He is here to help with bereavement.
Yes, he's actually my dog, but he a lot of people request to have him come and visit in their room, and
He's
so
a great
people
dog.
that love dogs just love to have an animal around. So he's a welcome, great welcome.
That's great.
And if you have food, he'll be your best friend.
I've been so impressed with your facility and with
thank
all
you.
the services that hospice offers to the community. I don't think everybody's aware of this. How do people connect with you and connect with your services?
Well, that's really important. One of the things we really like to do is community education. We do family satisfaction surveys after the hospice patients have been here, and the one thing that we hear back from our families is that they wish they had known about our services sooner. We have such great services, as you have seen, and we can provide so many services throughout the last months of someone's life, not just days and weeks. So we are trying to get that out more into the community. We have quite a variety of different brochures that people can come by and pick up. They certainly can use our website, talbothospice.org, or call 410-822-6681. We love to have phone calls and love to talk to people, you know, personally, because we know lots of times when people make that call to hospice, they've been thinking it for quite a while, and they're very nervous about it. And to hear someone on the other side of the phone starting to answer questions that have been weighing on them for so long is so very, very important. The other thing is that, you know, as I said before, we don't receive any money from insurance. We are totally funded by the community. So for people who are our donors, we absolutely love them. They're welcome here. A lot of our donors are over 350 volunteers because they want to not only pay back for what they've experienced through hospice, both financially as well through volunteerism. But donations to hospice, whether it's through memorial or annual fund drive, is just critical for us.
So people could leave this in their will?
Oh, absolutely, yes. And we do have a wonderful endowment fund. All bequests that go to Talbot Hospice go into our endowment fund. So that money goes on and on for years to help support the operational costs of hospice.
And Festival of Trees, for 25
Festival
years.
of Trees just celebrated their 25th anniversary, and in this 25 years, they've donated $2.5 million to Talbot Hospice. They're the largest single donor to us. We wouldn't know what we would do without them. There's about anywhere between 10 and 50% of our budget.
It's amazing, that organization. I was actually president of hospice that 25 years ago when that started.
Yeah, and they have about over 800 volunteers that work for that one
amazing,
weekend. Yes,
amazing.
Yes.
Now, contributions are tax deductible?
Yes, they are.
And where would they mail those to?
They would mail them to 586 Inwood Drive, right here in this building in Easton, Maryland, 21601.
Or they could come over and
yes, and we have donation envelopes out front, certainly, or you can call again. You can also make a donation online via the website.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad you got to see us.
Me too.